Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, Fountain Pen Therapy. Thank God for this recap because I'm a little bit upset. My Italian team got eliminated, but you know, it was something that I was expecting. They just squeaked through last game with that goal and just seconds left in the game. But you know what? We didn't have it. We're a young team. We'll be back. We'll be back. So, you know what? We've got fountain pen therapy to replace all of that. I got a great show for you again. Got some pens, paper, and ink to show you. I got this little vintage gem that I just received. I thought it got lost in the mail frankly, it was, I think, more than a month that I've been waiting for it, but it finally arrived, and it's a lot of fun. And you know what? I think I'm onto something. I've ordered 2 more. Like they say, once you get into vintage pens, you can't stop. So maybe those are my new Grail pen adventures. Anyway, folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're back for some pens and some inks that are in the news and that I'd like to share with you. As you know, lately I've been really fooling around and having a lot of fun with flex nibs. I haven't taken the dive and bought that Mag 600. And you know, as you know, Hemingway, by the way, I'll put that up on the screen. Hemingway Jones put up in his live show kind of, you know, clarified things in terms of the Magna Carta Mag 600 versus the 650. Is it the same nib? Is it not the same nib? My understanding is that the 650 is really just, you know, that exclusive pen, but from Gold Spot, and congratulations, Tom, for that. That's a really gorgeous pen. The nib has been tuned a little bit, has been tinkered with, has been modified slightly. It's essentially the same nib, but I think the nib you get in the most recent purchases will be just a slightly improved nib. That's my understanding. But when you look at it, it's really the same nib from the very start. It's just better and improved from what I understand. So there you have it. So anyway, back to that. And I stumbled on a couple of sites. First of all, I saw let me just switch to that right away. Hold on here. Now I'm not getting it. Okay, here we go. Just bear with me here. Okay. I happened to stumble on this Executive Vibe pen. I think it was just a commercial on Instagram or one of the social media sites. But they were offering this nib, which is an XV titanium gold flex nib, 1995. I think they you can put it on their pen. And these 2 pens, this one here, I think is essentially a Jinao 100, if you know what I mean. And the other one is an X450. It really looks like the X450. And we've seen that before with the zebra nib is put onto one of these nibs, but they have this titanium version of the nib. And I'm really curious about, this is the titanium gold flex nib, and this is the Stonograph. This is another Stonograph flex. Just curious if you guys can help here. The reason why I say that is that Shaq MD and I'll put up on the screen just the photograph of his one of his videos. He goes through this flex nib. I think it's the same one, frankly. If you guys know, I want to buy this at $19.95 and see what it gives. And I know that Shaq MD puts it in his Asvine V100. So maybe I'll take a look at that again. Shaq, if you're looking at this, can you just inform us, where did you get that nib? Does it come from this site, or did you just buy it on some other site? Let us know. I'm really curious. I would love to play with that nib and maybe put it on my Asvine V200. So Shaq, counting on you. Okay, that's that. What else have I got for you? In terms of trends, there's been 2 reviews. One on Une Fontaine de Plume, my French friend, and one Doodlebud has also reviewed this. This is the Nova Pocket pen from Namisu. It was a starter pen, and I think they got their funds, and here it is. It looks interesting, so I thought you might be interested. It's a pocket pen, and now that as you know, I'm planning my trip in Italy, and this might come in handy. It looks like a very interesting product, and I may very well, nice and small and compact, I may very well take the dive, as they say. Next thing for you. Well, on Pen Chalet, I noticed that this Laban 325, I don't own one of these, and I've always been, it's on my bucket list and can never decide which color to get. Should I get this blue one? Should I get this turquoise one? I don't know, this red one. But I noticed it's at 128 US. I think this is a very good price. So anybody who's been looking to get this pen, including myself, well, that price could be interesting. So the Laban 325, and I think Pen Chalet, as we speak, has several Laban offerings. They've got a nice little nib. They've got a nice little pen there. So if you're interested, there you go. Next thing, Appleboom's got this Navalor Nautilus in black. I really like this color. It's at 123 US, which is a very good price in my view for the Nautilus. So anybody who's interested, Appleboom, there you go. Great little pen. From what I understand, I know I've dumped on Navalor, but not the Nautilus. The Nautilus is probably, in my view, one of their best pens. I just don't like when they're exaggerating and they want to sell this pen at $200 because it's an exclusive. But this little black gem here may be worthwhile. Next, what have I got for you? Appleboom's also got this new Leonardo Momento Zero Grande 2.0, the Guilloche. On the Guilloche, let me just pick one of the pens here. Maybe this dark blue one is nice. Yeah, kind of a Guilloche pattern. Very, very nice. You know, that's one of the things about Leonardo. They keep coming up with, just over and over, change all kinds of materials. They change up their pens. Yes, their designs may be basic, but you know what? They know what they're doing with the materials. So there you have it. What else have I got for you? Well, I just saw this on Pen Chalet. You recall last week I mentioned that Delta is kind of going on a blitz. They've got a lot of Dolce Vita original oversized pens in different colors and different materials, etc. I really love this La Riviera with this beautiful shimmer blue resin. But look at the price, folks, $716. Ouch. Let's see if Nino Marino gives me one of these. I doubt it, but you never know. You never know. He might surprise me. There you have it. Maybe I'll ask him about this one and see if he takes the jump. Next one, Dieman 2024 Inkvent. Atlas Stationers, one of my favorite retailers, is got, and it's coming soon. So pre-order already, folks. Dieman 2024 Inkvent calendar, and it's the black collection set. So we're in the month of, month of June, July, and the Inkvent calendar is already being proposed. I wonder if they picked the the inks yet. Maybe not. At least let them wait until the end of the year, for God's sakes. Anyway, there you have it. That's the inks. The inks and the pens that I suggest for you. And let me just check my notes here, make sure I haven't forgotten anything. 1 second, I'm on my iPad here. I just want to make sure we've done the linear. That said, we've done the L and the I. Okay, excellent. So, you know what? Let's stay tuned for the fountain pen therapy spotlight and my ink call of the week. Be right back. Okay, so we're back with the ink spotlight for this week. I've got 3 inks for you. Finally received my Alchemy Candy C. I received the other 3 inks from Alchemy from Pen Chalet, but this was in back order. And surprise, surprise, it was in my mailbox this week, so I'm glad I got that. It's been some time since I've been waiting for it. The other one is this Wearingeul For Whom the Bell Tolls, and another Wearingeul ink Dracula. I'm really happy to see these 3 inks this week, and we shall see how they swatch. So let's first of all open up. For those of you who did not see my unboxing of the other Alchemy inks, comes with a little swatch card. It opens up. There's a little napkin, I guess, to clean your pens with. There is the bottle, which is that funny bottle with a bottom, so that you can put your nib right down there, and it kind of swirls here in this cork bottom, and the ink comes well sealed in this wax capping, which here we go, which is nice because if you travel, I guess, you can put that back on, and for just home use, or I guess this is pretty sealable as well. You can seal it up with your with a normal cap. So there you have the unboxing for those of you who didn't see the original one. Let me just put that aside. The other 2 are pretty standard. I think they come in those nice bottles. Here we go. So that's the Dracula, and that's For Whom the Bell Tolls. Ernest Hemingway. Okay, so why don't we pull out our swatch paper and get down to it. First of all, we'll do Dracula. Now, the 3 types of paper I have for you this week is Clairefontaine. This is that French rule paper. I have Regalia, Tomoyo River, which is always going to be there, and bank paper. One of you asked, what about bank paper? Well, now, this week, I presented you the WAC paper. Okay, so everybody's happy. Okay, so, like I said, we'll start with Dracula. This is for my trusty folded pen. Wow, isn't that beautiful? That's a really nice ink. You know, I used to think red was just for corrections, at the office, but it's become kind of a fun ink to use even on a daily basis. At least I don't hesitate to use different colors. I know some people, I'm an attorney, so that's as conservative as you can get in terms of professions. And, some people might, if you get a fancy pen that shines in a boardroom, you'll raise eyebrows, but I don't care. I don't just use blues and blacks and that's it. I use blues, blacks, greens, purples. I have fun with it. So there you have it. That's the swatching. Now we'll just repeat the word Dracula just to give you an idea of how the ink writes. I can tell you it's very, very smooth and wet. That regalia has got quite a bit of tooth, but okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I think the phone rang and it kind of interrupted my taping. I should put it on not disturb. Sorry for that. Apologize for that. Okay, so there you have it. We'll let this dry up and I'll come back with the next one. Okay, so we're back with another swatching. This time we'll do For Whom the Bell Tolls. It should be on the green, a green shade, a dark green shade as a matter of fact, but we'll see just in a few seconds. So let's start with Clairefontaine. Yeah, very dark green. Almost, oh, I see. It's kind of tealish, actually. Dark teal. That's on the regalia. Boy, that regalia's got a lot of tooth. That's the Tomah River. And this is the bank paper. I don't know why they call it bank paper, but I should look that up one day. Whoop. Or absorbs it really quick. Okay, here we go. So that's the swatch. Let's just write a few words on each paper. And the last one. Very nice. Wet, juicy, and quite smooth. And of course, Vincenzo can't keep away from messing his fingers up. It never fails. I don't think I've done one swatching without having messed up my fingers. Okay, let's go straight into, while that dries, straight into the Alchemy ink, which I'm really anxious to see. I've been waiting for this for a while, so let's hope it lives up to expectations. Nice black blue, I guess. Here you go. Let's see what it looks like on the regalia. On Tomah River. And on bank paper. Hemingway Jones, the banker, should know why this paper is called bank paper. I should ask him. Okay, there we go. let's just try it again. Just a few words so that I can have the sensation of on the paper with the ink. So this is Candy C. Yeah, very nice. I suspect that this ink will perform very well in fountain pens. Yeah, look how wet it is. Very nice and smooth. Excellent. So there you have Alchemy Candy C. We'll let all three dry up and we'll come back. We'll do some comparisons. And then I'm going to use the same inks to ink up my Pen Resurrection. Be right back. Okay, so the inks are dry and I just wanted to share with you what they look like. This is a real difference. I mean, it's incredible. On the Clairefontaine, you can see that essentially the basic dark teal kind of dominates, but there is that hint of sheen, as you could see in the light, and some shading there. But Regalia just kind of surprised me. Look at this. Regalia is just, and you know, they were touting this paper as paper to replace Tomoe River. Never, never. Very toothy. Don't like the paper, frankly. Some of you may like that because there's a lot of feedback on the pens. But as you could see, the teal comes out just very flat. Mind you, some people prefer that. You know, instead of going for all that shimmer, if you use Regalia, you'll get a straight teal. And in and of itself is a very nice teal. Tomoe River and bank paper, you could see is what the inks really are supposed to be all about. You can see that sheen even more in the bank paper, surprisingly enough, than on the Tomoe River. But there you have very nice ink, by the way, for whom the bell tolls. Recommended. There you go. That's that one. Here's the Alchemy Candy C. Wow. Really surprised at Clairefontaine how it really shows up this ink. Really nice, actually. Surprising. In fact, mind you, it hasn't even dried up, and I think it's been like an hour and a half, and it's still wet. In the Regalia, and once again, you basically get your basic but very little sheen. You actually see a little more sheen if I bend the paper in real life than on camera. Then, of course, you got Candy C, Tomoe River, and Candy C on this bank paper, which really stands out. Very nice ink, mind you. Very nice ink. Recommend this one as well. There you go. And here's the red. The red is a little flatter. I think there's very little sheen here to speak of, even on the Tomoe River and the bank paper, or on the Clairefontaine. Actually, Clairefontaine kind of gives me that most of that silver sheen. I'm not sure you see it here, but there you go. Yeah, you could see a little bit of that silver sheen there, but not very much. It's basically a pretty standard ink, and I think this is a fast-drying ink. It writes a little dry, as we shall see from the 3 Pence Resurrection, where I've inked one of the pens with this ink. So there you have the ink spotlight for the week. So stay tuned for my pen haul. Be right back. Okay, we're here for my pen haul. Before we get to the pen haul to see the pens that I received this week and that I'd like to share with you, as I do most of the time, I'd like to share with you the pens that I used during the week, some of which were from last week's Pen Resurrection, and some of which it just, got randomly put into the pen case, as they say, because I said, you know what, I want to use that pen this week. So let's see what we've got. We'll go to my overhead camera and share that with you. Okay, so here you have the 6 pens essentially that I brought all week. I had this Delta Marchiaro, which has been in my case for a while now. This Delta is really nice. Always I like to have a red pen handy. So this is the Delta Marchiaro. Great little pen, Difficult to find these days. It's almost become like a vintage, but just a very nice writer. The other red pen was this Foluent 017. I had some problems with this pen during the week. I don't know what it is. Usually these nibs are very, very nice. This is the Foluent 017. I've got a feeling the ink is a little dry ink, and it just doesn't appreciate this pen, so to speak. So the Foluent 017 got used, but got used sparingly, I think. The other red pen or red ink pen took over. I saw this pen in my case, and I said, you know what? Let me go back to my Lemon M5. It's such a gorgeous pen. One of the viewers actually sent to me photographs of the real thing. He's got the real Mont Blanc, and wow, it's a real copy, I can tell you, folks. Lemon M5. Isn't that very nice? Oh, just. It's got that nice nib, kind of a small architect. You can see it just barely. You can see that tip there. Not too much. And let me tell you, very, very nice. I enjoyed this pen all week. Just such a comfortable pen. I can't say enough good things about it. Folks, for the price, go get it. Then, of course, I had my Ongdian DS5, and I changed my mind. I prepared a review of this, but I don't think it's worthwhile, folks. You know this pen already. And, all it is that, it's a cartridge converter. This is the fine nib, and, it writes really nicely. Almost, it's like in a fine medium in between, but very springy, especially for a black nib. I always thought the black colored nibs are less springy than the chrome, but, I'm wrong here. Very, very nice. Very nice. So, it's a cartridge converter. There's, the rest is the same. I figured, I don't think it's worthwhile that I, publish another review of this. There you have it. For those who don't know, there's an Ongdian DS5 or D5S, which is the cartridge converter version of the D5. There you go. Next on the list, this is the naughty pen. This is the pen that I'm almost ashamed to talk about, but I have to. This is a fake. I hate to say this, but I received this as a gift, but more as a joke than anything else. It's a fake of the Mont Blanc 146. I say fake as opposed to inspired because they actually go through the pain of, this is it's naughty. It's not the right thing to do. It doesn't open up the way. What happens? It's not a piston filler, but what happens is that there's a cartridge converter in there that you can pull out and put back in, or use to to fill up the pen. The reason why I have this pen is as you know, I'm thinking about what pens should I bring on vacation, and I considered this just because if I lose it, who cares? Or if anybody wants to steal it, go ahead. But you know what? At the end of the day, I hate to say this. Let me just zoom in a little bit. This pen really, 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 man, is it smooth. I can't hear it. It's wet, it's juicy. And it writes so well. It's just, I'm ashamed to say it, but there you have it. And if I can put this in my pen case on vacation, they steal it. Keep it. Okay. There you go. So I used that all week, and I got to say, it performed well. Then, of course, I have my Gold Spot exclusive, the first pen I received from Gold Spot, which is a Leonardo Momento Magico Bella di Notte. Please take a look at my video. A very, very nice pen. This is the pen that I used all week, folks. This is the Leonardo. Wow. Let me tell you, I had one examination on Discovery where I examined or interrogated a witness for almost 4 hours. I inked that pen, took notes for 4 hours. I don't know how many pages, 20, 25 pages of notes. So Leonardo Momento Zero Bella di Notte. For those of you who did not see my video, or because you don't like the color or didn't have the time, there you have it. Gorgeous pen. Thank you, Tom, for sending this to me for review. Very, very nice. Look at that finial. I really like the blue there. Very nice. One person didn't like this white here. I agree. I don't know what it's doing there. It's just a question of that, the resin being more translucent at the end there. But it's part of the capping that you see in there to keep this thing all nice and sealed. And let me tell you, writes just beautifully. And that nib, La Fenice Bib Broad, writes no stop at all. So there you have the pens. Let me just bring that back up for you for the week. And that I used, which is a perfect lead-in for my pen haul for the week. So what have I got for you? Well, in addition to that Momento Zero Magical that I just showed you, first two pens I got is that, as I mentioned, I like this pen, which is the Hongdian A9. I have, of course, the blue version that I have reviewed, and I proceeded to order the green and the brown, except I made one mistake. I was convinced that in one of the two, I had ordered an extra fine just so that I could test the nib, but no, they're both fines, which is unfortunate. So I may have to just order another one just to get that extra fine. I'd like to see how that extra fine writes, because all of my N10s are all fine. So there you have it. I did want to compare for you, and we'll get to this little gem in a second. This is the N10 with the black version of the nib, and it's a fine. So this is the fine nibbed Hongdian. And let me just close up so you can see something here. Hongdian N10. And you could see there's a bit of a flex. But very nice lines. By the way, I'm getting better and better at these lines, less and less shake in my hand for some reason these days. And maybe it's just because I'm writing so much with these pens. There you have it. So that's with the black nibbed pen. This one, and it's the same ink, it's Montblanc Irish Green. Big difference with this sticky resin as opposed to that slippery material. So this again is the fine nib, but I can feel a definite difference in the springiness of this nib. This is the A9, and I don't know if you could see it, but I feel it's a lot springier. Maybe not giving me, mind you, a thicker line, but it's just so much more spring So, but in any event, I thought I'd share that with you. So yes, I took the jump and I ordered the green and the brown. Beautiful pen. Just a beautiful pen. Okay, let's set aside on Dieman and let's take a look at this. Take a look at this, folks. Isn't that gorgeous? This is a Waterman 52 and a half. Finally got my hands on this little beauty. I don't like these things because I'm not sure it's inking up the pen or not, but it looks like it was delivered in impeccable shape from Katowiki, from Carlos, who sells a lot of vintage pens. I'm in touch with him, and I might actually buy more pens from him. I'm very glad that he did put this pen in just an excellent shape. I gotta tell you, it's all nice and shiny, clean, hardly used. Very nice. And here's the nib. Now, hopefully it will write on me. There's the nib. Oops, there we go. Now the pen is a 52 and a half. So what I understand is when it says half, it's because it's smaller. Yeah, it is a very thin pen, but it's a vintage pen. So I'm willing to live with that, obviously. There's that nib. It has Ideal on it. Number 2, Waterman. And let's take a look at how it writes. So this is the, okay, sorry, that's me. Waterman. Yeah, take a look at this, folks. There's nothing like it. Wow. So I'm really glad that this nib, yes, it's a little scratchy, and they say that I should not play with it because I might just ruin the whole thing. By the way, I love the way I make my F, if you haven't noticed. But I mean, I'm gonna have to, practice the flexing and how to write with the flex. I'm not there yet, but let me tell you, very nice. So there you have it. Isn't that gorgeous? And I've ordered 2 more. I don't even want to show you the pictures. I don't want to, put. It's kind of bad luck, the purchases. There's 2 more, another Waterman, and I'm hoping they're in as good condition as this is. 52 and a half, folks. This, I think, is going to be one of my Grail pens. And despite the fact that I did not spend a hell of a lot of money for it. And I find you can, you can write with it. I'm not sure I'd use this pen for taking notes for 4 hours, but take notes in a list of to do. Man, is that springy. Really nice. So there you have it. Very nice. So, there we go. So there you have it. I hope you really enjoyed that. I'm really excited about that pen. This little Waterman, it's just, and it's in good condition. I bought it from Katowiki. I won the bid, and I think I paid it like $120. So I think I got a good deal. I really think I got a good deal. You guys will tell me, the experts out there, and whether or not you can see any major defaults in this pen, but I'm excited, so I'm sharing that with you. So what have I else got for you on the pen spotlight here? Let me just there in terms of the paper, what have I got for you? Well, I've got for you, where are we? Sorry about that. Yeah, I got this Fabiano paper, this Fabiano notebook. You know, I'm on the Italian, I'm on an Italian binge, so let me show it to you. Here it is. Fabiano, very nice cover, beautiful blue, very nice, made in Italy. I swatched a couple of inks with it, and it turned out very nicely, actually. It's this is Waterman Audacious, Colorverse Supernova, and Gerbin Emerald de Chivor. And you know, it gave me a little bit of character, just to show you what this paper is like in this Ungdian that I just purchased. Yeah, it's got some tooth, no doubt. It's not a very slippery paper. So for those of you who enjoy a little bit of feedback, not as bad as, for example, Regalia, but a little more akin to Cosmic Air. And the ink I'm using here is the Mont Blanc Irish Green. You could hear the feedback, but you know what? It's very nice paper. I haven't had great luck with Italian paper. Let me just take out my Waterman again. Let me see it capping it. How does it feel? Oh yeah, that's really nice. So with my Waterman, yeah, very nice. I love this pen. I just love this pen. Okay, let's not get carried away, Vince. That's it. Okay, so there you have it. Great little notebook. Recommended. Fabiano. Very nice. Look at this. It just lays flat, like really flat. I mean, just like most Tomo River. Let me just bring it back up so you can see that. I mean, wherever I put it, just lays flat nicely. Fabiano paper. There you have it. Recommended. I'll put a link in the description. So there you go. We've got some pens, got some inks, we did some paper. What's next? My 3-pen resurrection, and we'll use that Fabiano paper for it. And those inks. Be right back. Okay, so we're back for my 3-pen resurrection and maybe 4-pen resurrection, or maybe 3 pens and 1 nib that's been resurrected. And let me explain to you, that nib, real surprise for me, boy, let me tell you. It got me going for a while, but I finally figured it out. Let me explain. Okay, here are the 4 pens, and I'll explain what this is in just a few seconds. Here is my Fabiano notebook to do some writing. The first pen I resurrected was this Fine Writing International, I believe. I don't want to get it wrong. Let me just check my notes here. Yeah, Bronze Age Golden Armor, because they have 2 versions of brass pens. This is essentially I use it as a eyedropper. Okay, very, very nice, I got to tell you. Because it's not, you know, the bottom and the top are heavy, but in between the resin, so it kind of gives it a very nice weight. And I put in there, of course, For Whom the Bell Tolls, that ink that we just swatched from Waringal. So let's see what it looks like. So this is, wow, very nice. Yeah, you could see on this paper, You can see the sheen in the writing. Beautiful broad. Let me just maybe close up a little bit more so you can appreciate the writing a little more. The nib, I believe this nib is a Yowo broad. It is a broad. And it's got a fine writing branded. It's got kind of a branded logo there. So there you have it. But I think it's a Yowo nib. And the ink is from the bell tolls. Okay, so that's the first one. Beautiful, beautiful pen that wasn't using it. It's going to go into my rotation, especially with that broad nib. Take some notes with this boy. So there you have it. Next one is this pen. This little Majon T5 is just an absolutely gorgeous pen. A little too expensive in my mind for a Majon. But man, it's a piston filler. It's got really nice resin with some, some chatoyancy there. What I did, and the nib is really nice, the nib that it comes with, but I replaced the nib with an Asvine medium just because I bought a bunch of them. So this is the Majon T5, and the ink is the Waringal Dracula. And yeah, folks, this ink is kind of a dry ink, medium or very little flow. The nib is a Asvine steel number 6 medium. Okay, so that ink is a dry, but it dries really quickly. So there are advantages. Next on my list is this Pen BBS 456. Beautiful pen. I hadn't used it in quite a while. And what I noticed is that I had put in here a Noodler's Flex nib. I left it there. So let's take a look at this beautiful pen. And it works out because I've been playing around with flex nibs these days. So when I found it in there, I said, well, that's a coincidence. So there you have it, 456. The nib is a Noodler's Flex nib. Not the triple tail, but I believe they call it the flex or the semi-flex, but it's certainly flex. The ink is the By the way, I made a mistake. This is not For Whom the Bell Tolls. I saw that teal, but it's not. It's the Alchemy. Yeah, it's the Alchemy Candy Sea. Sorry about that. Misspoke. Okay, so there you have it. Yeah, that's why I saw so much sheen there. Now, this pen. This is the Navlor Nautilus, primary manipulation number 1. The only Nautilus that I own. And I was testing this pen because I hadn't used it in a while. And like I said, I've been naughty. I haven't been very nice to Navlor lately. And then when I opened that pen, I noticed this nib. Now, I really want to bring it up close here. It has 1919 on it, 750, which means, and then 18 karat. So I said to myself, this is an 18 karat nib. Where did I get this? where does this come from? I don't remember. Certainly I didn't buy the Navlar with this beautiful nib. And when you look at the nib, it's a fine. Is it a fine? No, it's not. It's a medium 18 karat nib. Just absolutely beautiful. Really, really wet. Even has some line variation. It's got obviously some spring to it. Because it is a gold nib. Very wet. And I said, where did I get this? This is a beautiful pen. Why am I not using? Did it come with this nib? So I started researching, and I just typed in Google 1919 gold nib. 1919. Finally found it. It comes from this Ancora pen. And this pen, let me tell you, I just was so disappointed. This is and it doesn't have the nib because, of course, it's in here now. As you can see, it's cut off here, okay? I had purchased this nib, this pen, knowing that the top was broken, but this pen goes for, it's a little bit vintagey, $500, $600, $700 with that beautiful nib. And I said to myself, I'll find a way to repair the top part of this, and I'll have myself a nice little pen. And I didn't pay it very much. I think it was on eBay. I lost the top of this pen. I just can't find the whatever was here before. And this is it's a cartridge converter pen. So, I don't need the top for a piston mechanism at all. I tried to look for a top. I tried to buy cheap pens and just tried to see if I could put a top there. But as you can see, it had snapped. And I had it. And one day I'll find it. God knows where it is. But thank God I didn't spend a lot of money for it. So it's now sitting, of course, in my drawer. It's pretty useless. And that's when I decided to, because I don't like those Navlar nibs, decided to put it in here. But I'm so glad that I pulled this pen out so that I remembered having put in there this beautiful gold nib. So there you have my pen resurrection and a sort of a pen and nib resurrection at the same time. I hope that was fun. Just want to show you, sometimes we forget what we do with our pens. We put in nibs and we got, in my case, I've got so many that it's hard to keep track. That's why this pen resurrection I'm doing for you folks is just so useful for me as well, if you will. And that's what I recommend you do with your pens. You never know what you've got hidden in those boxes. So there you have it. So that's it for the pen resurrection. Stay tuned for my upcoming videos. Be right back. Just a little sip of my cappuccino. What have I got for you for upcoming videos? Well, I keep repeating the same thing, but because I got some pens that I needed to put on, right away that I felt you guys would want to see as quickly as possible. So I had to push back certain other reviews, but you will be getting a review probably, unless something happens, on Tuesday, the Sailor Tuzu. I've reviewed that pen. You should be viewing that on Tuesday. I still have my Gioia Capodimonte to show you. Put it up the screen, my thumbnail. And I've got my Faber-Castell pens review that I've done in part. There's my thumbnail, and you should be able to watch that. And I have not forgotten this two-part series that I'm working on. It's a work in progress on the wonderful world of nibs, where I review 8 to 10 different very interesting questions about nibs, everything you wanted to know about nibs, comparisons, and all the rest of it. It's a work in progress. I have about 200 pens that I've inked up. I'm testing them all. I'm trying to draw conclusions with the best of, and et cetera, et cetera. It's taking some time, but I'll get there, and hopefully that video will be appreciated when it comes up, and it will be coming up sometime in the summer, I hope. Okay, so there you have that. Those are my upcoming videos. What's next? Well, some feedback and some commentary, some personal highlights, if you will. Be right back. Okay, so we're back for some of my personal commentary. As you know, I'm really excited. If you watched my episode last week, I'm planning a beautiful trip to Italy. Yeah, for those of you who didn't watch that, I'm going to be visiting Rome. I'm going to be visiting Naples, Florence, Sicily, Spain, France. But the highlights, the fountain pen therapy highlight of the trip is going to be Florence, Rome, and Naples. In Naples, I have already planned a visit of the Delta factory with Nino Marino. In Rome, I will be visiting 3, 4, maybe 5 stores, fountain pen stores like Stilo e Stile, Stilografica, Novelli, for example, and maybe some vintage fountain pen shops. In Florence, I'm going to be looking at Visconti for sure. And I've forgotten about it. And thank you for the viewer for pointing out there's Pineider. There's a Pineider store in Florence as well. So, and there's others in Florence that I will be looking at as well. And I'm sure that in Florence, I'm probably going to go into a lot of stationery shops and buy some paper and maybe some inkwells and that sort of thing, vintage stuff, and maybe leather products, leather covers for the notebooks. There's a market there that even the Chinese stuff that they sell there, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but it's not the Italian shops, it's the market, the little kiosks, and they're selling Florence type of leather, but it's really Chinese made, or at least Chinese sewn, if you will. In any event, and they're still fine products, I can assure you. It's better than anything I see here in Montreal in any event. So anyway, enough of that. So now what I have to do, of course, is I have to plan, because I want to do a lot of journaling when I'm there for obvious reasons. So apart from deciding how I'm going to journal, but I need to plan what journal to bring. I need to plan what pens to bring, and I need to plan what inks and how I'm going to do it. So today I'm going to review for you how I plan to journal and what journals I plan to bring with me. Next week I'll cover the pens. I'm still undecided, but I'm going through a bunch of them, and I have a dilemma, and we'll work that out, and I'll explain that to you in my next episode, if you will. So in terms of journal, after having listened to all of your advice, what I've decided is that I'm going to use one journal, probably a smaller one, journal on the fly. In other words, if I'm visiting let's say the Colosseum in Rome, or Mount Etna in Sicily, or Tower of Mina in Sicily, or if I'm visiting, the museums in Florence, and I want to journal, I want to note what I've seen, I want to express in writing what I'm seeing so I don't forget. I'm going to use a small journal for on-the-fly journaling. And in that regard, I had 3 choices. And I still haven't made up my mind, but this is what I'm looking at. I'll go to my overhead camera. One option is to use a kind of a reporter-style notebook, where you can flip it over and put it in your hands, and there's a beautiful, this is Rhodia, but there's also a Tomo River notebook that you can buy on Etsy, and you can buy Rhodia, you can buy Clairefontaine. So this is one of the options that I'm considering, because I can, easily just put it back, go ahead, just like a reporter, and take my notes. And this is very tempting. Okay, so that's one option. And there you have it. This is the Rhodia paper that I have here, the dot pod, but they have it in all kinds of other styles, either lined or grid. The second option is to take an A6 notebook. This is the A6. In there I have a Hobonichi notebook. Actually, no, this is the Kingbur, which is, by the way, an Hobonichi look-alike for maybe a tenth of the price, Chinese. And you know, I can put on the dates, and as I'm going through every day, I can jot down what I have. It's by the way, this is a gorgeous, very nice, practical Rotter Faden cover, if you will. And the way it works is that, as you could see, you just use that to insert the notebook, and you can move it as you go along in the notebook. I've bought this little clip to put my pens. If not, I can always clip it here, but this is a very small clip, so my pen is limited to a very small size. That's why I've got this one. Otherwise, you can put kind of these elastics that they elastic pen holder, if you will, where you can put your pens in and it just wraps around. So that's one of the other options that I have. And you know, it'll fit in nicely in the bag, because I usually like to use a man's purse, a leather man purse. I use that for work. I use that on a daily basis. So there you have it. That's one option that I'm thinking about. The paper is a little bit too small, perhaps. So I have this other alternative that I'm talking about. This is the Cafe Nanami paper. It's Tomoe River paper, lined, a beautiful notebook. And I've ordered a notebook, a note cover that goes with that. And let me show you that note cover. Let me just, yeah. So this notebook is, while I look for it, is Tomoe River. It's a B6 size, so you know, it works out really nicely. It's on Etsy. I've ordered it. Should probably receive it next week. And here it is. So as you can see, it's the Cafe notebook, and it's the B6 Slim that I've ordered. And that, I think, is going to be going to go really nicely with the one you see on the screen. Is a different version of that B6 notebook that I have. It's the same company, except that the one I have doesn't have the Cafe cover. It's a kind of a plasticky cover. It just has this this kind of cardboard filing box, if you will. But that's the notebook. Now I find that this is a little more practical because I can bend it, and it's a little bigger and slimmer than this thing here. So that's another alternative. Otherwise, if I can find, I don't like field notes because the paper is not great, but if I can find a reporter style notebook that's a little bit smaller than this, and does have kind of a hardcover like this has, it may be another alternative. We shall see. So we talked about the small journal, right? The small journal that will accompany me on the go. But how do I plan to journal the rest of the day? Well, what I plan to do, and some of you have suggested that, is on the go, it's just small little notes. If I'm at a cafe having a coffee with my wife, I'll briefly jot notes as to what I saw, you know, what I appreciated, what stunned me, so I don't forget the details later on. Later on in the evening, or maybe early in the morning when I wake up and my wife's still sleeping and I'm at the cafe having my sfogliatella, for example, or a nice Italian pastry, and waiting for her to do what she needs to do and come down, I can journal. So I can do my morning journaling or my night or evening journaling after coming back from dinner and have had our nice day, sit perhaps on the terrace and at the hotel, wherever we may be staying, and just journal my entire day. So that's going to be my big journal, if you will, or my larger journal. And what have I got for that? Well, here's what I plan to use, and here I think I'm decided. First of all, this is a leather cover that I have, VG. That's my initials, and what I'm using is a Tomoe River notebook. Let me just show it to you. From Nanami, it's called the Writer. So it's a Writer notebook. I don't have the box, or the filing box, but it's a similar box to this one, except it says the Writer on it. And it's lined, okay? It's lined, it's Tomoe River. This is, the blotter that it has. 52 GMS, and this will write just beautifully. And I'm not going to go with anything else other than Tomoe River. It's smooth. It does my thing. I enjoy that. That is my favorite paper. So I have a brand new notebook that I had kept in inventory for a special day, and this will be my traveling long journal for the entire trip. And every day we'll put some notes down, and hopefully we can share some of that with you when I get back. So there you have my long journal. Those are the journals, and those are the decisions I have to make. Aren't they wonderful decisions? I mean, it's great to plan for this trip, I can tell you. My wife and I last night, after I made her a spaghetti alla carbonara, folks, to die for. I mean, I wish I could share it with you. Maybe next time what I'll do is I'll tape it and I can show you, because you won't believe it. What a really nice carbonara. We had a nice carbonara. We had a nice dinner, with some white wine. And after that, we took out our iPads and started planning all the excursions that we're going to have in the different cities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a lot of fun. She said, Vince, while you go and check out your pens, I'm going to go and check out the purses and the jewelry. So you know what? It's fair game. But we're all on a budget, and we're going to try to behave as much as possible. So anyway, there you have it. It's a lot of fun, folks. I got to tell you, I'm lucky. And having said that, I don't want to spoil the party, but a good friend of mine, and I'm going to try not to get emotional here, announced to me, unfortunately, last week that he's got that bad disease that we are all familiar with and hope we never get. He's got cancer. He's got cancer of the lungs, unfortunately. He's already started treatment, and he said, Vince, you're such a nice person. You enjoy life. You enjoy your fountain pens. Guy, just enjoy it to the maximum. And you know what, folks? I'm 60. I'm going to be 67 in July. In fact, I'm leaving just a couple of days after my birthday. We got to take life in stride. I mean, we don't all have the best means or the same means. And, some of us have more than others. But whatever we have, we should enjoy. It's a little bit like fountain pens. If you don't have the $1,000 pen, well, you know what? Enjoy the Hongdian D5, and enjoy it to the max. We just have to, enjoy every minute on this earth, because we don't know what's waiting for us. And I don't want to get, political or religious on anyone, but let's enjoy what we have here in this realm, if you will, as much as we can, because we don't know what shit is coming or possibly coming our way in the future. So there you have it, folks. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your pens. Keep watching the Euro. And we shall see who will be crowned the champion. And ciao, arrivederci, buonasera, buongiorno. Fate i bravi, Fate i bravi. Ciao.